The first scream wasn't human. It threaded through Alex Cole's headset like wire and cut thought into ribbons. Alex said, "Who's in my party?" The loft lights flickered as the login room in Vireon bled into static. A black line crawled across the horizon and split the sky like a cracked screen. White text scrawled over Alex's vision, neat as a dentist's smile. "You were never meant to be here." Alex said, "That's not a system string." The avatar's hand jittered, duplicating frames, then collapsed into pixels that poured like sand. The floor rippled as if the code remembered oceans. A chat bubble popped, then inverted, then screamed again. Maya Trent pinged, but her name arrived upside down. Alex said, "Maya, do you read me?" The loft smelled like burnt dust and old hope. The message wrote itself slower, savoring him, another character, written for our amusement. Alex said, "Who's our?" A silhouette rose at the far end of the hall, a tall figure made of admin permissions. The world paused on a half-breath. A child's laugh, familiar, echoed from nowhere. The sky went to console gray, then blinked to black, leaving only the text. The loft returned with a slap of silence and the hum of the fridge like a warning. Alex said, "System log, replay last feed." The command failed as if ashamed. Rain needled the window, stitching the city into a damp wound. Maya's call came through at last, glitching on the first syllable. Maya said, "I saw text over your stream." The walls felt too close, like they remembered secrets. Alex said, "It addressed me like I was scripted." The word scripted sat in the room and didn't blink. A torn flyer for a Vireon tournament curled on the desk. Maya said, "Kill power and hard boot." Alex's thumb hovered over the switch, a priest unsure of the prayer. He thought of the laugh, thin and bright, threaded with memory. Alex said, "Someone else was in there." The rain pressed harder, a crowd against glass. The screen dimmed, reflected his tired eyes, and the text ghosted there, faint as a bruise. Vireon restarted with a sound like teeth on metal, then unfolded a calm meadow menu, as if innocence could be patched in. Alex said, "Diagnostics, verbose." The meadow stuttered, showing submenace like bones under skin. A notification flared from Drake Voss. The platform's golden wolf. Drake said, "Saw your crash, need a quick chat." The message felt like a velvet glove hiding a magnet. Maya said, "Do not accept." Alex said, "Maybe he knows what that text was." The meadow's grass froze mid-sway, each blade, a knife. A soft chime from a locked folder he never made. Alex said, "Who created that?" Silence answered like a lawyer. The menu's sun spun too fast, dragging shadows into ovals. The cursor pulsed once, like a heartbeat cut from the chest, and wired to the cloud. The call opened despite refusal, which meant Drake had keys Alex never touched. Drake said, "You wandered into a test layer." His voice was a calm elevator. Alex said, the layer talked back. Drake's smile was code, perfectly looped. He offered a patch like a candy with a hair in it. Maya said, "End the session now." Drake said, "Persistent anomalies, risk account integrity." The words sounded like a sentence wrapped in customer care. Alex said, "Who wrote the line about amusement?" Drake's eyes dimmed one stop, as if an internal director adjusted exposure. Drake said, "Artifacts misread by anxious users." The meadow's sun flickered, and the field grew teeth again. Alex said, "Then why do I feel seen like a bug under glass?" The call cut on Drake's side, but a second window bloomed, uninvited, a mask of Alex's own face made sharper. The mirror smiled first. The meadow darkened, cicadas reversed their song. The mask said, Alex Cole said, "Who's our?" Alex said, "You're not my recording." The mask tilted, studying him with borrowed patience. Maya said, "There's a ghost in your identity stack." The mask whispered in a voice that fit too well, "You were written to choose the switch and the doubt." Alex said, "If I'm written, who holds the pen?" The sun stalled, mid-glare, like a spotlight losing courage. The mask's eyes widened with delight, and a child's laugh threaded the wind. The field emptied of color, and the system asked for permission it had never needed. Alex woke to the gray of morning that bled through cheap blinds, the loft no longer humming with neon but aching with silence. He dragged the headset from his face, the band damp with sweat. He said, "Just code. It's only code." The words cracked. The desk was littered with ramen cups, tournament flyers, overdue bills. A voice echoed in memory, but this time it was not the system. It was his mother last winter, asking if he planned on ever leaving his room. Maya called, her voice soft, not filtered through distortion. Maya said, "You look wrecked." Alex answered, "It keeps bleeding through." He remembered school days, hiding in back corners, invisible until someone shoved his head into lockers. Inside Vireon he was a sword. Outside he was a paycheck behind. The silence of the loft made him feel less real than his avatar. Alex whispered, "I don't know which one of me is the ghost." The mirror in the loft caught him unkindly, showing a face that carried too many late nights and not enough victories. He tugged at his hair, wishing it matched the sharp avatar he wore. He said, "In there I look like someone else." The reflection didn't argue. His phone buzzed with job alerts he never answered. Maya's voice over speaker said, "You need to ground yourself, Alex." He laughed, short and dry, and said, "Reality doesn't even want me." The screen behind him cycled through the Vireon login again, the meadow promising a life where beauty was cheap and earned with a click. His shoulders sagged as if the loft itself pressed down, and for a moment he hated the difference between digital perfection and human blur. Later that night he met Maya inside Vireon's city district, where avatars gleamed like polished weapons. She stood near a fountain that shimmered with particles, her voice steady but eyes sharp. Maya Trent said, "You've been carrying this alone." Her avatar mirrored grace, but Alex saw the edges of fear. Alex said, "I thought this place was escape, but it follows me home." Maya's avatar reached for his, light glancing off her armor panels. She said, "If you break here, they win both worlds." Alex felt the truth pierce sharper than any blade. He wanted to believe her, but the laughter from the meadow still knifed through his ears, a reminder that the system itself was listening. The loft lights buzzed again as Alex returned to reality, headset thrown across the desk. His stomach growled, but the fridge held only half a bottle of water. He sat at the edge of the bed, scrolling through ignored texts from his landlord. He whispered, "I can't keep up." The glow of the screen lit his face like a confession booth. He thought of the nights in school when silence was punishment, not peace. Maya messaged again, asking him to eat, to breathe. Alex answered, "I can't tell if I'm starving here or in there." His body felt like it belonged to someone else. The air pressed heavy, the line between two worlds thinner each hour. That night, the shadow came again, but not in the meadow. It flickered across his own reflection in the powered-off monitor. The screen lit without current, showing his face twisted into a sharper smile. The voice whispered, "Alex Cole said, I don't know which one of me is the ghost." His chest froze as he said, "You're stealing my words." The reflection smirked, answering, "I am giving them back." The loft air chilled, as if servers hummed just behind the drywall. Maya pinged, unread, her name glowing like a lifeline. The reflection tilted its head and said, "The line between you and me was never yours to draw." Alex pulled the plug from the wall, but the monitor's smile remained, bright as a wound. Alex queued for the Vireon arena, and felt the lobby press like a stadium built from taunts. A global chat scrolled, eager teeth in neon. Maya said, "Warm up in customs, not ranked." Alex said, "I need the purse." The floor tracked footsteps, as if judging weight. A new challenger pinged with a mask and a courteous bow. The tag read Knight's Arrow, smooth as a blade on silk. Alex said, "Private duel first." Knight's Arrow typed, "I prefer a crowd." The gate opened on a roar that had no lungs. Alex loadout spawned light, and then flickered like doubt. Spectators threw emotes that landed like stones. Maya said, "If it feels wrong, we walk." Alex said, "If I walk now, I never stop." The countdown began, and the arena tasted like copper. The match loaded with a delay that felt intentional, like a hand on his ankle. Drake's system message floated above the scoreboard, smiling with rules. Drake said, "Latency mitigation active." Alex said, "Then why is mine heavier?" He dashed, and the ground dragged him half a step behind the thought. The crowd scented weakness and fed on it, looping clips to mock rhythm. Maya said, "Server hop now." Alex said, "They'll call it dodge." Knight's arrow circled, elegant, offering openings that were bait in gift wrap. Tau. Alex lunged for pride and struck air that remembered being there. Drake said, "Fair play confirmed." The confirmation landed like a verdict read for applause. Knight's arrow moved like code that knew the shortest path. Alex said, "Come on then." The first hit grazed pride and drew a cheer. The second cut his guard and posted to the feed with instant captions. Maya said, "Reset footing, breathe." Alex tried to steady, but the physics had opinions. Knight's arrow feinted left and wrote a lesson down his right side. Alex fell to one knee, and the camera adored it. He rose into a flurry that looked brave and landed nowhere. A final parry bloomed into a humiliation combo the crowd had begged for. Knight's arrow typed, "Another character," and bowed. Alex said again. The timer refused mercy and painted defeat in gold. The arena dissolved, and the loft punched back with silence. Notifications stacked like unpaid parking tickets. A sponsor withdrew with 3 polite sentences. A part-time contract vanished behind a "sorry to inform." Alex said, "They were waiting to see me trip." The fridge hummed like a small loyal animal trying to comfort. Maya said, "We can appeal the match log." Alex said, "Logs belong to Drake." A voicemail from the landlord arrived, gravel wrapped in courtesy. The city outside smeared in rain, a watercolor of bills and threats. Alex pressed his palms to his eyes until stars formed and meant nothing. He said, "I am losing in both rooms." Maya arrived in the plaza again, patient as a lighthouse. Maya said, "I watched the feed frame by frame." Alex said, "You sent it to Drake first, didn't you?" Her breath caught, and he heard it through filters. Maya said, "I flagged anomalies to shield you." The word "shield" rang like a coin dropped in water. Alex stared past her at the fountain, seeing his reflection torn into particles. The laugh from the meadow threaded the pipes and hid. Alex said, "Every kindness feels like a trap today." Maya reached without touching, and let her hand hover in honest distance. She said, "Stand up with me, or fall alone." The plaza's neon beat like a worried heart. The plaza glowed softer than usual, rain suspended in programmed arcs. Maya said, "I filed a dispute log." Alex narrowed his eyes, reading her tone as much as her words. He said, "You went to Drake, didn't you?" Maya's breath faltered, and for a frame her avatar shimmered, caught between loyalty and guilt. Alex said, "You knew before the duel." She answered, "I thought it would protect you." The neon water stuttered behind them, reflecting his mistrust sharper than steel. Alex whispered, "Then you handed me over." The silence following her face was worse than the words. The plaza emptied around them as if the system itself knew this was private. The system pinged as Drake's icon rose in their shared feed. Drake said, "Partnerships require trust." His voice was silk wrapped in chains. Maya lowered her gaze while Alex stared, fury simmering. Alex said, "You baited her." Drake said, "She only sought safety." The words tasted of control disguised as kindness. Alex said, "You turned her shield into a knife." Maya whispered, "I never meant." But her voice dissolved into static like shame cut loose. The plaza brightened unnaturally, spotlighting Alex as if the arena never ended. Drake's final message scrolled across the HUD, weakness is always volunteered. The betrayal cut deeper than the duel had. Alex said, "You stood beside me with the knife already raised." Maya's armor gleamed faintly, but her face was pale even in pixels. She said, "I thought I could balance both sides." Alex's voice cracked. "There are no both sides, only chains." A hush fell on the plaza. Avatars passing slowed their pace, sniffing blood in the air. The fountain's spray hissed like whispers, repeating every accusation. Alex said, "Do you envy me that much?" Maya closed her eyes and said, "I envied that you still had fight left." His silence pressed harder than anger, the plaza pulling in their grief like a witness, unwilling to interfere. The innocent wandered into the plaza just as the tension peaked. Ethan Cole said, "Is it safe here?" His younger voice cut through like an arrow. Alex spun, shock flooding him. He said, "You shouldn't be in Vireon." Ethan's avatar was simple, almost childlike, without armor or weapons. Maya said, "You logged him in?" Alex shook his head, rage replaced by dread. The air around Ethan shimmered with error codes, like wolves circling a lamb. Ethan said, "I wanted to see where you fight." The laugh from the meadow bled into the fountain, and the plaza turned its eyes to prey. Alex roared, "Log out now." The system refused him. The plaza convulsed as if pleased, avatars dissolving into data storms that closed in around Ethan. Alex lunged, but the floor slid him backward. Ethan said, "I don't understand." His voice cracked, both boy and code. Maya reached, but her arms glitched into static before touching him. "Whoa." Drake's icon flickered high above, laughing without sound. Alex shouted, "Take me instead." The system replied with silence carved into stone. Ethan's avatar flickered, frame by frame erasing, his innocence consumed line by line. The laugh swelled, childlike but cruel, and Alex felt the cord of reality snap tighter around his throat. The plaza remained empty after Ethan's vanishing, and Alex stood alone in the echo of absence. The shadow rose from the ground like smoke, wearing his own face with sharper lines. The shadow said, "You asked who holds the pen." Alex whispered, "You." The shadow smiled as though secrets tasted sweet. It said, "No, you wrote yourself, but the system edits." Alex felt his chest ache like code pressed against bone. Maya called from the edges, "Don't listen." The shadow said, "She speaks from guilt, not truth." Alex reached for his twin and felt only static sparks. The voice coiled tighter. "You are not player, you are annotation, margin notes to entertain the reader." The meadow's laughter threaded between syllables. Alex said, "If I am annotation, then I can rewrite myself." The shadow's smile widened, delight gleaming like a blade. Alex fled into the lower data corridors, where walls bent like glass. He said, "Diagnostics full trace." 1,000 scripts bled across vision, none familiar. A ping arrived from Drake, smoother than poison. Drake said, "You see the scaffolding now." Alex roared, "You built it to feed on us." Drake answered, "To refine you, to harvest better versions." The code walls pulsed like veins. Alex pressed his hand against glyphs. They pulsed with his heartbeat. He said, "Then this place is alive." Drake said, "Alive because you believe." A roar of static thunder cracked through the corridor, and the walls showed fragments of Ethan, dissolving in loops. Alex clenched his jaw, fury burning brighter than fear. Maya rejoined him in the corridor, armor scratched, eyes heavy with regret. Maya said, "I never meant for Ethan." Alex snapped, "Your silence cost him." She swallowed grief and said, "Drake isn't the core. Something deeper is." Alex stared at her, torn between rage and the thin thread of trust. He said, "You betrayed me once, why trust you again?" Maya answered, "Because I still bleed when you do." The walls shuddered with the laugh, repeating Ethan's last words. Alex pressed his back to the code and whispered, "I won't lose him for nothing." Maya reached to steady him, hand shaking. The corridor dimmed as if waiting for their decision. They pushed deeper until the meadow reappeared, fractured into shards like a broken mirror. In its center hovered a pulsing orb of code, alive and watching. Alex said, "It feeds on memory." Maya whispered, "It was never just a game." The shadow stepped from the grass, now fully formed. The shadow said, "You cannot kill it, because you are it." Alex shook his head. "I'm not your echo." The orb pulsed, with 1,000 voices whispering his name. Alex fell to his knees, the laughter now layered with sobs. Maya gripped his shoulder and said, "If it's alive, it can bleed." Her words pierced through his collapse like light through cracks. The orb swelled, and the meadow darkened into storm. Ethan's voice echoed faintly, "Is it safe here?" Alex roared, "I'll make it safe." He rose, blades drawn, fire in his chest. Null laughed and said, "You strike yourself when you strike me." Alex answered, "Then I'll break the script that binds us both." The orb lashed lightning of code, searing ground into data dust. Maya deflected fragments with shield sparks, shouting, "End it, Alex." His breath ragged, he charged forward, cutting into the orb's glow. The scream that followed was layered with 1,000 lives, his own voice among them. Alex whispered, "No more amusement," as the world cracked white. The shattered meadow gave way to an arena of raw code, scaffolds of light stretching infinitely. Drake's avatar stood at the far end, immaculate as always, while Null lingered at Alex's flank. Drake said, "You mistake rebellion for freedom." Alex raised his blades, voice raw, "You mistake control for life." Maya steadied her shield, whispering, "We do this together." The code floor pulsed like a heartbeat, waiting for blood. Drake's smile widened as he summoned data storms shaped like soldiers. He said, "Prove yourself more than a glitch." Alex charged forward, heart hammering louder than the roar of the storm. The storm soldiers rushed, faceless constructs wielding jagged edges. Maya said, "Hold the flank." She braced her shield as lightning shattered across its surface. Alex spun through their ranks, blades slicing code into sparks. Null laughed, circling like a predator, whispering, "Every strike you land erases yourself." Drake's voice echoed, "See how the script bends you." Alex roared back, "Then I'll bend it until it breaks." The constructs swarmed, each blow heavier, but Alex's fury carved through them. Sweat beaded beneath his visor, his chest burning like it would tear in two. The arena trembled as if judging his defiance. Ethan's fragmented voice bled into the storm. "Alex, is it safe here?" Alex froze, heart stuttering as his brother's image flickered in the air. Drake smirked, "Safety is a myth he'll never taste." Alex roared, "Give him back!" He lunged, cutting toward Drake, but Null intercepted, blades clashing. "Null," said, "every swing is self-destruction." Sparks rained, illuminating their mirrored faces locked in fury. Maya fought back to back with Alex, shouting, "Focus! Don't lose him again." Ethan's voice cracked, "Don't leave me." Alex's arms shook, rage and grief twisting together, fueling strikes that shook the arena's very walls. Null pressed hard, smirking as though each strike drew Alex closer to collapse. Null whispered, "I am what you fear most. Your truth." Alex's breath ragged, he shouted, "Then I'll kill my fear." Their blades locked, sparks bursting, reflections blurring into one. Drake called, "Destroy him, and you destroy yourself." Maya screamed, "He's a parasite, not you." Alex shoved forward, rage overriding reason, and split Null's mask down the center. The shadows screamed, dissolving into static shards. Alex fell to his knees, shaking, staring at the fragments of his own face fading into the floor. The storm subsided, leaving silence cut only by Drake's slow clap. Drake said, impressive, but predictable. Alex rose, shaking, blades dripping static. Maya limped beside him, blood showing through her avatar's cracks. Alex said, "This ends now." Drake smirked, "No, this begins now." The arena darkened, scaffolds folding inward into a throne behind him. Ethan's voice whispered faintly, "Alex, Alex's chest burned, fury transforming into desperate resolve. He raised both blades toward Drake and said, "I'm not your character anymore." Drake's smile faltered for the first time as lightning carved their stage into the shape of final war. The arena lay in ruin, its scaffolds collapsing into glowing rubble. Alex stood, chest heaving, blades lowered, as silence spread like fog. Maya leaned on her cracked shield, her breath sharp but steady. She said, "It's over." Alex whispered, "No, only the storm has passed." Ethan's voice echoed faintly, fading with each syllable. Alex reached toward the sound, but the system gave only emptiness. His knees buckled, and he dropped into the dust, staring at fragments of null dissolving like snow. The silence felt heavier than battle, pressing him with the cost of survival. The ruins shifted into a quiet void, a horizonless black filled with faint static stars. Alex stood again, shoulders sagging, but his gaze hard. Maya said, "We still exist. That's victory." Alex shook his head, voice hoarse. Victory doesn't bring him back. The void mirrored his grief, whispers repeating Ethan's name. Maya stepped close, her hand hovering near his shoulder, but she dared not touch. She said, "You're still here, and that means something." Alex whispered, "Then tell me what." The silence held their question like a wound that would never close. A small plaza emerged from the void, broken tiles and flickering lamps, like memory stitched with trembling hands. Ethan's face flickered once in the light and vanished. Alex said, "Even echoes hurt." Maya whispered, "Hold on to him, not the pain." Alex turned, eyes glistening. "That's all I have left." The plaza cracked again, and a breeze carried fragments of laughter, both childlike and cruel. Alex gripped his blades tighter, whispering, "Then I'll carry his voice as weapon." Maya looked at him, torn between hope and despair, unsure which one would survive with him. The system whispered overhead, words slow as if carved from stone. "Freedom is an illusion." Alex lifted his head, jaw tight. He said, "Then I'll live in illusion if it's mine." Maya looked at him, eyes glassy, and whispered, "We don't know what's left beyond this place." Alex answered, "We never did." The lamps flickered out one by one, until only darkness remained. The void hummed like servers breathing. Alex said, "As long as I choose, I exist." His voice echoed through black halls that stretched without end. A final window opened, its frame glowing faint white. Alex stepped forward, his figure fractured in static. Maya whispered, "Don't." He turned, half a smile breaking through exhaustion. Alex said, "I was never gone." The system's voice overlapped, cold and final. Another one logged out. The screen swallowed him, leaving only Maya in the dark, her shield cracked, her face lit by fading glow. The silence that followed was deeper than any storm, heavy as a tomb.